What's up, guys? My name is Zach Black, and welcome back to the channel, and more importantly, welcome back to MediStories. Now, this is a brand new series that we are just now getting into. This is the first episode and everything, and I'm actually super hyped to do this because I've been sharing these kind of experiences with a lot of people, and I have quite a few of them to share. So, starting a weekly series of it is something that I look forward to. And I might do more than weekly, but I'm thinking weekly's probably good. That way I don't, burn out on all of them so that there's no, stories left to share. That would suck. That would kind of ruin the series, right? So, although I have these experiences quite often, this one is called The Dark Forest. Now, this one's kind of ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie. This was probably the longest out of all of them, so grab some popcorn, get chilled, put some headphones on, whatever you want to do. Get ready to listen to a very long story. So, or actually, don't get popcorn, get something a little more healthy, like apples and peanut butter or something, I don't know. Something healthier. Popcorn's shitty. Anyway, let's jump right into this. So, I was having a pretty bad day when I first was getting into this meditation. And I was thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to meditate with my higher self, see if that cheers me up today. So, I sit down into meditation and I'm just kind of chilling, I'm thinking of my higher self, and, I'm in this void space, just visualizing at this point. And I'm just visualizing my higher self sitting in front of me in this void space. And instead, I decided to switch the scenery over to a place I've been before. It's like a side of a mountain or something. It's pretty cool. And we were just chilling pretty much, sitting across from each other. And we do this kind of energy connecting thing from our chests. It's like this beam of energy. It's probably about like this big, I would say, and it connects to our chests. And we were kind of just chatting for a minute, and I decided to ask him, hey, let's go somewhere, because I'm in a crap mood, so let's go do something else. So he's like, okay, we shall then, basically. Now, it's kind of funny. I will say one thing. Talking with your higher self in these visions like this is sometimes kind of funny because they'll be exactly like you. So they'll crack the same kind of jokes that you'd crack. So it's like you're laughing at yourself, like literally. It's just the funniest experience. But he said, okay, we'll go somewhere. And in the past, every time I ask my higher self to take me somewhere, it's been something insane. I mean, the last time, it was like a whole crazy experience. I mean, I saw all kinds of crazy stuff. I might talk about that one in another MediStory episode, but this one is about the Dark Forest. So, me and him just kind of disappeared. Everything kind of faded to black, and I stopped visualizing and just kind of left things alone. And now I was just kind of staring at the back of my eyelids. There was nothing going on. And next thing I know, here comes popping up this crazy other area. It was nighttime, and there was kind of a cliff to my side, and we were looking down into this pond, and we were kind of just floating there, kind of formlessly. I don't think we were anything at that point other than just pure awareness. And there was this whale. I mean, I don't know why a whale is in this tiny pond, but there was a whale in there, and it came swimming up and just blasted out of the water and then went back down in the water. And it was strange too, because the water, it was like there was a light in the bottom of this like spring pond thing. I don't know what the heck to call it. It was pretty small. I mean, it wasn't like this big area. And there was that cliffside next to me, and in a different vision, I have been in this area before, and I actually jumped off the cliff into the water, and the water still had that same glow to it, like it did in this vision. So we kind of floated our awareness down over to this little walkway that, is pointed towards this elusive forest, And in my last vision, where I saw this forest, I tried to walk into it, and I couldn't. So it was really strange. And there's kind of like this paved road that led into that spring area, and I never really got how it was there, like why it would be there. There's a cliffside right there, like where would the road go other than in the water? And we went over and kind of landed, I guess, on that paved road, and I had form now, and my higher self was just a part of me in this case. So it was almost as if I was alone, but I knew my higher self was with me, if that makes sense. And we walked towards the forest some more. And now, looking at the forest, there's like this wall of darkness kind of just there, it's a very flat wall, like noticeably separating the two areas, even though this area was dark and there's nothing illuminating it but the moon, but it was as if no light got into this other area at all, even though I could see slightly looking in there. Like I could tell that it was a forest and that there was a little path, but I really couldn't make out much of anything else. And we stepped towards it, and as we were walking towards it, I was thinking, well, I hopefully I'll be able to walk this time, when we step into it, and I won't be just frozen again. And as soon as we did, I kind of experienced that moment of like being frozen again, just for just a brief moment. In the last vision, when I stepped in there, it's just almost like I just was kicked out of my own vision or something. Everything stopped, and it was like I was just staring at my eyelids again. And in this case, we stepped into it, and it was like I was blind, but I was still in the vision. Like I could still feel my body within the vision that I was using. So I was kind of confused what was going on. And sure enough, the vision, like I tried to emanate this light from me, which is normally what I do in visions when I can't see. It's just kind of this natural light. Well, it's not really natural, it's just a random light that emanates out of me so I can see. And in this case, it wasn't working. I couldn't see still. So I literally started shooting this beam of light out of my head, kind of like a flashlight, just so it would, destroy some of the darkness so I could see. And I, shot this in front of me, and I could only see where it was shining. Everything else was just complete darkness. And whenever I'd shine it away from an area, the darkness would kind of like fill it in again, if that makes sense. So it was a really trippy experience. And I decided to continue walking down this path, though, just because, my higher self brought me here. There's got to be something going on, right? So we keep on walking, and I shine this light kind of off the sides of the path here into the forest, and I could see like these little darkness dudes kind of like scurrying away so they're not in the light, right? And I just keep on walking, and I can see fire in the distance now that I'm on like kind of a straight, and it looks like there's like a bus or something up over there, and everything in the forest is like black and white too. It's got this gray haze over it, and it's black and white, except the fire and except for me. So it was really weird. And the fire had like the only color, so I went over to it, and it sure enough was a bus, and it looked like it had like crashed down. I mean, there wasn't any like imprints in the trees where it could have done it any time recently, but the ground, there was a crater where it landed, and the bus was just on fire. And it was either that or maybe a landmine. I mean, that would be really strange too. I mean, I guess either one of those would be really random, but the bus was on fire still, and it didn't look like, I don't know, it didn't look like a landmine unless that was like a fucking crazy landmine. But we kept on walking now, and there was another fire, except this time there was also something else. It was like this organic kind of something wrapped around it, and it was really far still, and I well, before I got there, I decided I wanted to kind of channel some light because it just felt like that would help. I kind of wanted to cleanse some of the darkness in the forest so I could see without shining my hand around. So I tried channeling these two energy beams of light from above and below me, and as I did, I ended up channeling darkness, and obviously I didn't want anything to do with that. And as I realized this, it was almost, meeting in the middle, and then I decided, oh shit, that's not what I want, so moved it back out, and then I literally shot a beam of light in the air to like clear the darkness so that I could have like an open view to the sky. And then I shot one below me too to get rid of any down there. And then I did it again, and this time it actually worked, and I got some light going on. And I started doing this funny thing. And normally when I do these two energies, they connect in the middle and they form kind of a ball, and it kind of just compresses by itself. But this time I, for some reason, decided I would make kind of a bubble of light around myself, and I compressed that down. It would be like kind of like this thin layer, just completely around me, and then I'd make it till it was almost completely solid looking, of just this gold light energy, and then I would compress it down on top of this ball, kind of like layering up the ball like an onion. It's a weird metaphor, but it's pretty accurate. And I did that probably about 10 times, and I just had this layered up onion of light in my chest now. And I decided, instead of shining my hand around, I'd push energy around me and just clear up as much darkness as I could. So I put my hand on the ground and shot these waves of energy in both directions to my left and right. And initially I was going to go all around me and just clear the entire forest, but that just didn't happen. For some reason it just shot energy to my left and right, and it went into like the deeper parts of the forest, and I could see more of those little darkness dudes jumping out of the way so that they weren't in it, and it was kind of strange. And I could feel them around me and like behind me, but I knew that they weren't about to fuck around because they get some light in the face. But those were the only areas I cleared, and I decided, well, shit, if that's not gonna work, then let's try something else. So I put a little visor of light. It was like kind of like almost goggles on of light in front of my eyes. That way I could like see through the darkness. And I decided, you know what? Why use a visor when I could just like infuse my eyes with it? So I got rid of the visor, and then I put light directly into my eyes, and that worked just the same. My eyes kind of had this beam effect going on, so I could see everything still, like they were just automated flashlights. It was pretty funny. And then we just kept walking again towards this organic thing. I don't know what to call it. It was really strange looking, and it was kind of like wrapped up in a bus or something too. I mean, I want to say bus. I don't know if it was a bus though. It was kind of a strange looking object altogether, to be quite honest. And I approached this thing, and there was, some slight fire around it too. Except this one didn't look like it was in a crater at all. It just kind of looked like it was just on the surface, kind of like stuck in the ground. And it was strange looking, to say the least. So I noticed there was a door that was just randomly sticking out that wasn't covered by this like organic looking material. So I opened it up, and I hopped inside the bus for whatever reason. I don't know what compelled me to hop inside there, but I did. And I turned like to my right. It did look like the front of a bus, but from the outside it looked like a car, if that makes sense to you guys. Like the door I got in from looked like a car door, like the back door of a car even. It didn't look like a bus door. And then to my left, it looked like a bus. There was, the typical seating that you'd find in a city bus, and it was like at an incline, and as I was looking down that side, the like that end of the bus was just chopped off altogether. And I was like, holy shit, it almost looks like a slide, and there was a pit I mean like a gigantic hole, like just outside of this thing. And I'm looking down there and I'm like, oh damn, um, I don't want to go down there. So the whole bus though, like, it's immediately when I thought that, the whole thing just tipped over and just started diving downwards super quick, and I was somehow sliding down. I mean, apparently physics don't work in this realm, but the bus was being dragged down by something extremely fast, and I was still managing to slide down towards that edge, and I had to grab the seat um, and pull myself back up to the door. And I mean, we were falling crazy fast, and it just kept going and going. And I climbed back up to the door, and I was, trying to open it, and it wouldn't open. So I was like, "What the fuck?" So I grabbed the handle, and I like sent like this energy beam like all around it, kind of like it was just burning a hole straight through it. And I just literally did just that and burned a nice little hole around the door, and just pushed the thing out of the way, and I hopped right on out the door, and the bus just fell super quick without me in it. And I was like, damn, I mean, that thing was getting pulled down super quick by something. And I started slowing myself with light energy, just kind of thrusting it downward, and that was, slowing my fall quite a lot. And I could see the walls around me, like in the entirety of this pit. I mean, the walls were like smooth like concrete, but they were dirt, if that is something that I can describe better. I don't know how. Um, but it just was so smooth looking for like a dirt wall. I mean, it didn't look like something had just dug a hole. It looked like it was like, I don't know, like that piece of the earth was just taken out, like just without disturbing any of the other stuff around it, and maybe even smoothing the other stuff. It was just the weirdest looking, like, unnatural wall of dirt I've ever seen. And I kept falling down this hole, because obviously, what the hell's pulling me down? Why not? Let's go find out. So I'm getting close to the bottom, and I start noticing the walls are becoming like a stone kind of wall, almost like a really old style castle or something like that. And I get really close to the bottom, and it's only more so down there. It's just everything is made of stone, and it looks like it's actually some kind of underground building. And I land down there, and the bus is not down there, so I'm kind of confused, like, where'd the bus go? And there's kind of like this blob, I want to call it, in the distance, and it's super dark down there, and I can only see so far with my little light vision. And I could see something moving, it literally looks like a big blob of something, and it's just kind of blobbing its way around, and I'm just looking at it like, what the fuck? And it got kind of closer, and I couldn't really tell how close it was because it was just so damn dark. And I realized it was like it was almost like a really thick fog of darkness. And it's kind of like the same fog that was up in the forest, except this was like more solid than that, but not by much. I mean, it was still pretty smoky, but it was definitely a bit more thick than that. And all of a sudden there's like this black, like, blob arm coming at me, and it just stabs me in the chest. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? And it's lifting me up after that and pulling me towards it. And it's I forgot the exact words it said. I know I wrote them down in my notes, but I'm recording, so I can't look at them on my phone right now. I don't know. It said something like, "I finally have you," and I was like, "What the hell? What kind of weird shit is this?" And it grabbed my arms and legs before I could, do anything about what it was doing, and it felt like it was like sucking the life out of me, like the energy from me somehow. And I was thinking, like, why would something that's darkness be sucking light energy out of something? Like, that makes no sense. And I figured, hey, if you want some energy, let me just give you some more. So I I started like pushing like these crazy amounts of energies out of my hands, and it wasn't working. It was just like absorbing that energy just fine too. So I was like, what the fuck? And I kind of sat there for a minute, like, what am I gonna do? You know, like, and I thought of an idea from another vision of when I had these kind of like energetic light wing things going on. And I thought, oh, hey, let's use those. So out come the wings, and I just straight chop off its arms with the wings. And I kind of go back towards a little bit away from that blob of darkness, and manage to kind of recover from having it stab me. So that was a strange experience in itself. And it kept trying to like hit me with its thing again, with its, I don't know what to call them, with its arms, with its blobby arms. And I kept using the wings to block it, because apparently the wings were just impenetrable altogether, because they were just made of straight light. And it kept on going with that, and I was trying to think of what I could do, because I'd shoot my own little blast of light at it, and it would just kind of make a hole in itself, and it wouldn't really do anything. So I was like, shit, I gotta be a little bit more creative here. And I was thinking, well, wait a second, this thing is made of a big blob of darkness, and light cancels that out, so why don't I just turn into a big blob of light? So that's what I did. I made this huge blob of light that was the same size as that one, and it just came like, I don't know what to call that. It came slithering at me in its big blobbiness, and we kind of just collided, and we had all this energy swirling together in the middle of light and dark, and it was just like negating itself right in the middle, and it just kept swirling and swirling and swirling. And I mean, we both, I think me and the darkness there, realized that we were just going to sit there until one of us ran out of energy. And I knew I wasn't about to, so we just kept going and going until finally the darkness just stopped altogether. So I stopped throwing my crap. And then this little like ball fell down. It was like a glass ball filled with light and dark, and they were just kind of swirling around in the ball. And it just fell down on the floor. It didn't break, though, somehow. It seemed like it'd be fragile, but it didn't break. I'm not sure what the heck that was, to be honest. But yeah, that happened. And then I just kept walking over to this figure in the distance. It looked like somebody that was on the ground. So I walked over to them, and it was like a shadow me, you know what I mean? Like, it was like me, except just like completely darkness. And I was almost kind of relieved, like that it was just my shadow self. I kind of knelt down next to him and was like, well, shit. And he was like, I almost got you. He was all like, I guess chill about it. I don't know. It's interesting. And I was like, yeah, you really tried, huh? But no. And he turned into like little particles and went back into me, because he's a part of me anyway. And I was like, well, shit, let's go back up into the forest, because I wasn't done yet. So I turned into just like this light energy again, and just floated my way right back up on top of the giant pit that we just descended. And I just went back into normal form and was continuing down the path on the other side of the hole. And I thought, why walk around when I could do this in such style? So I got on this like little I made this like board of light and started like surfing on the air. That was some cool stuff. I got uncomfortable though at this point, and I came out of the meditation, so that's cool, I guess. But oddly enough, later, like that whole rest of the day was just awful. I don't know, like in physical reality outside of the meditation, like that whole rest of the day just sucked beyond belief. And I eventually, though, got back to my meditation at the end of the day because I was still feeling like crap, and I figured I'm gonna meditate again. And like, this has not happened with many meditations. I mean, I've purposefully returned to visions before, but I've never just automatically went right back into one like this. But when I went into meditation again, I was immediately right back where I was when I left, like in the exact same spot. So I was kind of amazed by that, and it made me wonder, like, I stopped that vision in the middle of darkness, and then I had a really shitty day, and it made me wonder, does that have anything to do with like actual, like, this 3D reality, you know? Like, did that somehow affect it, or is that just completely separate, you know? I don't know. Seems interesting to me. Anyway, I kept on going on my little surfboard through the forest down to this another pit. Oddly enough, it was another huge pit. This one wasn't as narrow, though. It was just like a giant pool almost, and it was just a bunch of darkness just swirling around, chilling in there. I don't know what the heck. It had its own little wave system and everything. It was going crazy. So I get close to it, and I'm like, what the heck? And there was like this little walkway that led up onto like some of it. Like there used to be like a bridge that led across, but it was broken. And I was kind of confused, like, what is this even there for? And this is you stalking around. Alright, we had a minor interruption there, but we're going to continue the story. So, there was that big ass pool of darkness in front of me. And I did not know what the heck was going on with that. So I approached it and was standing relatively close. And sadly, there's like kind of some blur in my memory right now for like what happened. But all I really know is I ended up in the middle of it somehow. I don't know if it pulled me in there. I think that's what happened. Like, it just kind of reached up and grabbed me and pulled me into like the center of it. And it was like trying to just like completely wrap around me, and I kept like pushing these waves of light around me, like kind of like pulsating layers of light just to like push it away. And I was trying to like completely get rid of it by like pushing the light straight to the walls of this little concrete pool kind of deal that it had going on. And I kept on doing that, and I wasn't quite strong enough. It seemed like I couldn't seem to completely get rid of it. Every time I did, it would just quickly flow right back at me, and I'd have to pulse again just to like keep it from hitting me. And I couldn't seem to do anything, so we were kind of at a stalemate. And all of a sudden, this being comes down and has this light, like this green energy with them. And when they got like in front of me, they were kind of a little ways away from me. And as we kind of got closer, this energy became more green and green. Like before, for me, it was like this yellow goldish light energy, and then as we got closer and closer, it became more of this deep, vibrant green color. And eventually we were right next to each other, and the energy was completely green at this point. And I mean, it just obliterated the darkness around us altogether. I mean, it just completely shattered it to pieces. And I ended up hugging this energy, and they kind of like dissipated into me somehow. It was kind of a strange effect. And then I was just standing there right in the middle of this pool, and I looked down and I realized there's a hole, like the most random hole ever. I mean, what the hell? It's like a drain hole or something. And something in darkness comes out and grabs my foot, pulls me down. And I mean, I don't know what's up today. I mean, this meditation, I was just getting pulled like by everything. I was just getting attacked. I don't know what was going on. And I'm getting pulled into this hole, and I mean, this hole is tiny. I mean, it's like claustrophobically tiny. I'm like barely able to fit in it. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck, like I'm just getting dragged down so quick. And I I brought this energy down from the sky again. I shot energy up, and then I brought down light energy to me again, and just had this massive beam of energy coming on me, and I just blasted it down and just demolished all of that darkness down there. And then I just flew right back up and channeled up some more of that energy, and then just shot an even bigger blast of energy down into that little drain. And it just, I could just see it all getting demolished down there. All that darkness. I was trying to come back up because it kept on coming. I was just like, oh my god. And I was just thinking, like, I gotta get rid of like the source of this darkness in the forest. Oh yeah, and that was the thing. I think that was why I even came across that pool of darkness, was because I wanted to clear this forest of the darkness altogether. And as soon as I thought of that, that's when that pool showed up. And anyway, I'm out of the pool, and like most of it's gone, but there's still that darkness in the drain. Even though I was shooting light in there, it just kind of stopped coming out, but I knew it was still in there. So I was thinking, okay, well, what can I do to get rid of all of the darkness in the area? So I got an idea from a different vision, actually, when I was meditating with one of my friends. I noticed there was this giant guy that was spreading like this negative energy throughout this place, and I thought, maybe if I become gigantic, I can do the same thing with more ease. Maybe size somehow matters in this case. So I grew into this gigantic light being. I mean, I was just completely like that golden light energy altogether, and just huge. I mean, like bigger than all the trees in the forest and everything. And I slammed my fist down right in the middle of that pool, and I just, like, this wave of energy. I mean, it went over everything. And it was weird because it would kind of wave up like this as it went by. Like the wave kind of had a little bit of a earthquake sound thing effect. I don't know what the fuck to describe that. It's like the waves in water, it's like they're kind of moundy and stuff. They go up and down. Anyway, there's one big wave like this going throughout everything. And it was interesting because on the wave, like as it came up, there'd be darkness here, and then on the other side where it had just hit, it would be vibrant life. And as it went over things, it would oh shit, what's my phone doing? We got low battery. Shit. Alright, we gotta keep going. We gotta finish this. So the energy was going by, and on this, like as it hit the darkness areas, you could see the trees just like disintegrating and turning to dust practically. And then like right at the tip of this mound, there was nothing. And then as soon as it started to dip back down on the other side, it would be like vibrant, like new trees and all kinds of really cool stuff. Just the effect itself was just so cool. Damn. It was just awesome. But we kept on going, and there was kind of this like weird thing going on with the lighting now, like the kind of like that fog of darkness. It was like this like permanent, like endless summer vibe going on, where it was just sunny and like vibrant and beautiful everywhere, all over this forest now. And another weird thing, like I shrunk back down to my normal size and was looking back down the path, just curious, like, are there still burning buses, And there wasn't. There was actually fountains, but there was this other really strange factor. The trees looked like they would in like the middle of summer. They were like really green and vibrant looking, just full of so much color. And then there was all these leaves on the ground, like it was fall. And it was just kind of strange to me, because like, how is that possible? It's not like the trees look like it's summer, and then the ground looks like it's fall. It was really amazing looking. And the my cat's being a dick. Uh, and then there was this pathway that was very like, I guess it was almost like it was just freshly made, if that makes sense. And it was like made of stones and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty beautiful, to be honest. Um, and the entire forest had this effect going on and was really vibrant, with color and whatnot, when it was completely gray before. Which just, I mean, just if I could show you guys what this place looked like, it was absolutely incredible. That's why I keep talking about it. But I decided to keep walking down the path because I was curious, what's down here. So I go past these fountains. At both the locations where the buses were, there was two fountains. So I was like, wow, I mean, they were pretty cool looking fountains too. I mean, this place just turned into a totally different vibe, like altogether. And I was getting close to the end of the forest where I had first entered, where that wall of darkness was. And I looked to my right, and there was this like huge spider. I mean, huge spider, like probably about 3 times my size. It was crazy. And for whatever reason, I was like, hey, I want to go talk to the spider. So I walk over to the spider, and he's got this super hilarious accent. Oh my god. He was like, hello, my name is Eisenhower. And I was like, what? I mean, it was so funny. It made me laugh. Like, I almost like came out of the vision because I was just wanting to laugh so hard. And I was like, hey. He was like, he said a bunch of stuff that was actually really cool. I was actually amazed at what he said, but I can't remember the entire conversation, to be honest. And he told me to call him Izzy afterward, of course, in his accent. He's like, you can call me Izzy. I was like, oh my god, your accent is fucking amazing. And I'm not even joking, he had a fucking top hat on, too, on top of that. Like, just, man, he just fit that pompous role like a pro. And I walked back towards the path after I was done talking to him. And there was, I noticed this little plaque on on one of the fountains, and I don't know if it was on the other one, but it probably was. And I went over and looked at it, and it had a quote from my friend, like one of their sayings. It had their quote on there, and then their name, and then their lucky number in like the bottom right corner. And I was just like, what the hell? I mean, it was just such a random synchronistic thing, to be in the dream. And I mean, it was on a golden plaque, okay, like on the side of the fountain. I just found that to be so random. And there's even more strange. Me and this friend weren't talking at the time too, and there was benches next to these fountains, and my friend was on the bench, but they looked like this blue kind of ghostly energy. And I sat on the bench next to them, and it was kind of like they didn't know I was there. Like they were just in like a totally different area, and I could just somehow see them on this bench. And I wanted to say something, but then I knew that we weren't talking, so I didn't. And that was, I mean, it was kind of like a goal thing for us. It wasn't like we were mad at each other or anything. It was just like, we talk a lot, so we're gonna chill and just see what happens. And after that, I got up because I know I was kind of chilling. It was nice, just kind of being in that space, and I wanted to see what was going on outside the forest there, where that whale was and whatnot. So I walk over there, and as soon as I step out where that wall of darkness was, it was like dark outside again, the same as it was when I first got there. And I looked back at the forest, and I'm like, holy crap, it's just like randomly sunny in there. And then like I looked above the forest, and I mean the forest had like this random like glow around it too. Like it wasn't there wasn't like a sun within it, but it was like emanating its own light within the forest. I was really blown away. I don't know how that even works, but that was interesting. And I could see the moon and everything, and I could tell that it was dark, like it was supposed to be, at least. So I was like, wow, that's really amazing. I've never seen something like that. And I walked on over to the little spring thing where the whale was, and I was kind of wondering like what was there before the spring was there, because it seems like there would be something, with the road leading to it. And all of a sudden this whole platform builds, with this I forgot what they're called. I have no idea. There was a little ramp that led up to this platform that was just above um the spring, and it had like a roof on it and everything. Oops, I just slapped my mic. Um, there's a platform up there with the roof, and it just seemed like a random little space. And the brakes in the road were all fixed up too from it, and I was wondering like, what's the point of this little thing? I don't understand. So I kind of just was chilling there, and not really sure what to do. Sorry if you guys hear music in the background. Somebody is listening to something. Um, but I was just chilling up there, kind of just leaning over the railing and looking off into the water, kind of like, what is this thing for? I don't understand. And I felt somebody behind me, and I turned around, and my friend was walking up to the railing of it too, still kind of ghostly, like they couldn't see me still. And they leaned up against the railing, and we were just looking over it too. And all of a sudden, another me came up and like jumped in the air and was like about to destroy the thing. And I was thinking, is this what happened to this before? And like, why am I doing this to my friend? So kind of confused me. But as I was like slamming my hands down, basically, I did this thing that's fantastic in every vision. I dilated time down to this super, super low level. I mean, it was super dilated down. And time was really slow at this point, and I was kind of just in the air about to slam on the ground, and the other me was. And sorry, somebody keeps cruising around. The other me was slowly coming towards the ground with his fists, and I was like, oh no, I gotta stop him. So I teleported into like this other reality. It was kind of like it was the same place, but like an alternate version of it. And I think a parallel reality would be kind of an accurate way to describe it. And as soon as I got there, I just like put my hand out and just grabbed myself by the chest and just threw myself back down the little ramp thing onto the asphalt. So you still cruising around back there? Anyway, I was chilling by the at the top of this thing still, and my friend didn't seem to see me still, even though I was in the same reality. Maybe they just weren't turning around and couldn't hear anything. I don't know. It was strange, and the other me seemed like oddly excited that I was there. Like he was like mad and excited at the same time. Like he just wanted to kick my ass practically, and he came flying at me super fast and just, I mean, literally flying, and we go charging into that cliffside, and he just is pushing me straight through the whole cliffside, through rocks, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? And eventually we got out the other side, and it looked like the area we were in was on a like floating rock, and we were flying through the air, and we kept on like teleporting around. Like every time I did any of my abilities, he would copy them and be like faster and like better. It was really tripping me out like so much. And he kept teleporting me like straight in front of a rock so he could like slam me into it, and then I would teleport behind him and try to do the same thing, but he'd just do it so fast. I mean, like, I couldn't even react. And eventually I teleported both of us way up into the air, and he was, um, I mean, we were just like beating the hell out of each other. It was ridiculous. It was like, as we were flying through the air, it was just tripping me out. And eventually he, while we were in the air, he was saying some weird stuff, and he turned his whole hand like into like this shard of darkness. It was like a big, I don't know, like a sword almost, except it was more of a thorn of darkness, and he just stabbed it straight into my heart. I was just like, damn, you know. And the strange thing was, like, in my physical body, like, not in the vision, I couldn't breathe. Like, I was like holding my breath while I was laying there, and I was like, holy shit, like, this is getting really intense all of a sudden. What the fuck? And he's sitting there, and he said, I guess you're gonna have to leave the vision like you always do. And I was like, what? How the fuck do you know I'm in a vision? Like, it was so weird. And I couldn't move really at all in the vision. Like, I wanted to, like, tear his arm out, but I couldn't seem to overpower him. And I was just like, fuck, you know, I can't breathe right now, and I don't want to leave the vision, you know. So eventually I just got the strength, and I lifted my arm up, and I just smashed his arm like completely off, and I pulled this shard out of my chest. And I mean, it was just crazy. And then he I think I managed to hit him a couple times, and then he teleported us down to the ground and tried to throw me into the ground, and we had this little teleport war going on right as we were about to hit the ground. I mean, each one of us, we come right down to the ground and teleport, and then right down to the ground and teleport, and we kept going back and forth the whole time. And I mean, it got to the point where it was just so fast I could barely even see what was happening. It was just zoom, 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 zoom. It was so crazy looking. And I mean, eventually it was just too fast, and I couldn't keep up with him, and he tossed my ass into the ground, and he just like was kicking my ass some more. And I mean, I was mostly getting my ass kicked during the whole fight, let's be honest. And he eventually we got to this point where I tried dilating time. I was like, all right, I'm gonna dilate time if you're so fast, you know. And as soon as I started doing it, he started doing it too. He's like, oh, you want to dilate time, do you? And I mean, it was like this field around both of us of just time dilation. And I mean, I was dilating time so quickly, and I just kept making it slower and slower and slower, and he just was doing it slower and slower, and he was just doing it faster, you know. And like, even though time was so still, I mean, the rain next to us was, I mean, not moving practically. It was so slow, and he was still moving like way faster than me, because now he's not only super fast, but he's also dilating time more than me. So I'm like totally not able to keep up with him, and he comes at me and just hits me so many times, and then eventually like tosses me off to the side, and I'm just like, fuck. You know, I'm just getting demolished right now. And I was like, you know what, we're done here, this is my vision. And I'm like, stop, you know. And he's sitting there, and he's looking at me, he's like, what? And I'm just like, stop it. And sure enough, he just like, I like took his power somehow, like altogether, just took him from him. And he was just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? And I just straight up walked up to him, and I hugged him. I was just like, let's stop this shit, bro. Like, this is retarded. And he was totally chill after that, and he was just so confused, you know, looking at me like I'm the one who started it or something. Like, I don't know what the deal was. And we teleported back to that the forest area, and we were kind of just talking. I was like, damn, dude, I don't know how the hell you are so much faster than me. And he's like, oh, I've had lots of time to practice. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? I mean, it was just so weird to me. I didn't even know how to describe it. And It was fine though. We ended up being cool, and I knew he wasn't going to be a dick to my friend anymore. And he was sitting there kind of amazed at what I did. He didn't understand like the like what I did when I hugged him. Apparently that seemed to do something to him, and he didn't know what the fuck. So that was interesting. I guess we both were in the same boat there. But that was pretty much the end of that part of the vision, and I said goodbye and teleported back to my reality version of it. And in this one, I noticed before I teleported back that the forest wasn't dark and it wasn't light. It was just like a typical forest at night, if that makes sense. Like just a normal forest. And alright, guys, so we had one more interruption, and the phone is definitely going to die in a minute, so we're going to try to wrap this up quick. So we went back to my reality, and the forest was all vibrant and beautiful again. And next thing I know, I wanted to run fast. Like all that fighting got me all riled up, and I always like to run super fast when that happens. And so from another vision, there was this guy that I called Running Buddy that just was in that vision and was running with me one time. So I thought of him, and he came by, and then we just immediately took right off. I mean, we just ran straight to that that little pool thing where the darkness was in like the heart of the forest. And we ran over there and we started running in circles around it, and there was actually a bunch of other people running in it and like around the edge of it super quick. But I mean, me and him were just crazy fast, and we were having ourselves a little race as we ran in circles around this the edge of this thing. And I mean, we were running so fast. I mean, I could feel like the G-force from our momentum going in circles there. Like it was pulling me down. It took like all my strength to like keep my legs from just like shattering to pieces into the concrete wall. And at first we were like weaving in and out of the people in there, but then they all kind of just ran up on the side and were just watching us. And I mean, we were just going so fast, and I had like this light energy behind me, like my typical light energy, and he had like this I don't know, it was like a deeper blue color going on. Maybe that was inspired by the Flash or something, I don't know. But we had these beams around come behind us because we were just going so fast, and eventually like that light was like all you could see. It was just a ring of light around the whole thing of just this golden light energy and then that dark blue energy. It was just crazy looking. And I was running so fast, and I eventually just slightly pulled ahead of him, just barely. And then we ran out of the thing, and we started running through the forest, doing all kinds of parkour, jumping off of the trees and stuff. I mean, it was like the craziest thing, and we were just going so fast, dude. And we came to this like big opening field area, and we both stopped, and he had like this crazy like suit thing on. I mean, at first it looked like a full body suit, but then after we stopped, it like kind of unfolded. He had like this like short spiky blonde hair, like completely blonde, and he was wearing like kind of the same kind of clothes I would wear, almost like the same thing I'm wearing right now, except he had like my leather jacket on. It was really trippy looking, and I mean, he looked relatively similar to me, to be honest, but he wasn't me. And he said his name was Jesse. I was just curious, because I was like, hey, I'm gonna ask you your name because I just call you Running Buddy, so what the hell? And he said his name was Jesse, and it made me think of my friend from a long time ago that was also named Jesse and also had blonde hair and blue eyes and stuff like this guy did. And it was just kind of a weird synchronicity. I mean, I doubt they're the same person. They look totally different. But that was really interesting. But I told him it was nice running with him, and then I left the vision. So that was pretty much the entirety of that. Hopefully I didn't lose any video footage here for this. I know I got a couple calls and the video was interrupted a couple times, so hopefully this still turns out good. If you guys like these story time videos or MediStories, then let me know, because I plan on making more anyway, regardless, but if you do like them, definitely leave a like and subscribe, because I'm going to probably do these on a semi-weekly basis, unless I just randomly don't have a story, which probably won't happen because I have a lot of them like stockpiled from how long I've actually been experiencing these vision things, so most likely I'll have a pretty consistent stream of these too. So make sure to leave a like and all that good stuff, and share them, because I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in these or like to hear just some random story. I don't know. More importantly, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and much love to you.